What's up, everybody? This is Caleb from Nerdy Bits for one more little sneak peek from the indie games at E3 out of Freedom Games. This last one, I guess, if you're listening to this first one, if you're listening to it in the middle one doesn't matter what order you listen to, they're all good. This next game is Sands of Aura, and this game is perhaps maybe the one I was most intrigued by while playing through these. Now, don't get me wrong, Ruin Raiders, if you haven't already checked that video out, Ruin Raiders is a turn-based tactical, like, roguelike strategy game, all about those 100%. Like, that's not even something I have to be intrigued by. I'm just sold. This game, however, seems to take the, like, Dark Souls-y kind of dark, grim, difficult play style that you get out of those games and turn it on it, not on its head, I don't want to say that, but like shift it just a little bit to an isometric camera style that allows you to see more around you, and combat that's a little quicker and feels a little more violent, fast-paced. Not to say that the Dark Souls games don't feel violent, but you'll see in this playthrough that I've got coming up here with this interview. I actually got to do this interview with several members of the team. It was actually the only interview that I had more than two. Yeah, most of them I had one or two. This time I had three. I got to sit down with Eric Jung and Cassidy Fan and Michael Shistik as they walked through what Sands of Aura is, and I would get into the lore and things like that, but actually Shistik starts this demo that they showed me. I actually got to play this myself, yes, but I wanted them to play it because I wanted to be able to ask questions and not be distracted by how bad I was at it the first time I sat down to play it. But Shistik starts this off by going into such a genuinely, I care about this project, like, let me introduce you to the lore, that I think I've had anybody pitch to me, and I absolutely fucking loved it. So check this out. It's Sands of Aura. The development studio is called Chashu, which is, if you didn't know, like Japanese braised pork belly. They're called Chashu Entertainment. I read it and was instantly like, oh, I want ramen. So that's cool. I'm gonna have to deal with that for the rest of the day. Check this out. It's dope. And I'll see you next time.
Go from there.
Yeah, sure. I'm Eric Zhang. I'm the producer for Sands of Aura.
I'm Cassidy Fawn. I'm the character artist and animator for Sands of Aura.
And I'm Michael Shistik. I'm the art director for Sands of Aura.
Well, hello, everybody.
Yeah, good to meet you. So, yeah, Cassidy will be playing for us today, and I'll give you kind of a brief introduction on the game and what we're going to be looking at. So, Sands of Aura is an open-world action RPG, and it's set in the decaying world of Talmhel, where an ancient spell plague has turned everything into an entropic ruin of sand and dust. Today specifically, we're going to be starting a little bit further into the game. We're not going to be at the very beginning, and we're going to look at the ruins of Herwell. So everything within Talmhel has been flooded with this sea of sand, and only the spires of kingdoms and mountaintops are left to explore and untainted by the dust. So whenever you're ready, Cassidy, take us off.
Sure. You are watching the stream, right?
I am. Yes.
I, for some reason, start without asking sometimes, and people get left behind. So,
like, what are you talking about? No, I've got it.
To derail real quick though, your room is freaking badass, dude.
I wanted to find a spot to say that. It's amazing.
Yeah, we decided to finish a room in the basement because we had a second kid coming. So I just did all of this.
Oh, cool! Congratulations.
Thanks. I bought a bunch of stuff and made it look as nice as possible. It turned out better than I thought it would. So
you're gonna have a hard time keeping. You're gonna have a hard time keeping them out. Yeah,
it's true.
Too much fun in there.
Yeah, I bring them down and turn the lights on, and they just stare. It's great. It's great.
So I picked up a bunch of gear that was on the ground right here. This is not the first island that you're going to be at. This is an island you'll find later in the game.
Gotcha.
So I equipped the armor. I'm going to ring the bell real quick to heal. Basically, our bell works the same as the Dark Souls bonfire. It replenishes your health. It restores your healing bells, and it respawns all the enemies. Okay. And when you die, you'll respawn there, so it's a checkpoint as well.
Yeah, I got into it a little bit before this. I played for about 40 minutes. I got my ass kicked a lot, but it's fun.
Nice. Yeah. Hopefully you can kind of see some of our secrets and maybe understand the mechanics a little better. Because I know we don't have a tutorial for you guys since it's not the very beginning of the game.
Sure.
So totally understandable.
Yeah, that's really
Um,
why I'm doing this. My hope was just to get better at it. That's it.
So we are actually trying to focus on a lot of these RPG elements. Like we are an action RPG game, but we do like RPG. So here, Danthea, she's one of the many NPCs within the game. She is a part of the Church of Lysis, and she's a manhunter within the organization. And because of that, the Guardian of Herwell does not want her snooping around Herwell and doing her business. So she's asking us specifically, like, hey, can you go find this guy Calder and mark him for me or bring him to me? And it's up to you. Like, you can completely skip the quest. You can choose to interact with it, or if you want to, you can murder her and take her stuff.
Oh, all right. Yeah, there's a guy a little bit later that drops a gate on you and then slides his
Yeah.
shovel across the gate and is like, "Come get him!" And I was like, first of all, screw this guy.
Yeah.
Second of
So-
all, I swung my sword at him and did damage, and I was like, "I'm just gonna kill you now," and killed him.
That's perfect.
Nice.
That's the kind of agency you want to leave the player to, like, what they want to do with the different characters too, because they do
Yeah.
kind of add to this story a little bit, depending
Sure.
on your choices.
Yeah, if that guy's
So
you-
important, he's dead. Oops.
Exactly.
So you already made a weapon then, I'm assuming, since you've played. Do
Yeah.
do you need any more explanation to any of this? Did any of it confuse you or
No, not really. I mean, it was a little not dense, but I was a little like, oh man, there's a lot of options. So I was really boring
Yeah.
and made a sword. But it
Yeah,
works.
sorry.
No, it's
there's
fine.
over 1,000 there's over 1,000 combinations, but in the
Yeah.
full game you won't have all of it at once like this. We were just trying to show off what you could do possibly.
Sure.
But in the full game you'll actually have to go and find every single little piece in the world.
Right.
so,
that makes sense.
Did you want me to pick a certain weapon or a weapon that you used?
Don't do the one I use. It's boring. Do dual. Oh yeah, do a dual handled or dual handles and axes, and then
All
do the ally spawning pommel. That sounds cool.
Ooh,
Okay.
And then
All right.
Actually, a good combo.
do the Hashiran style.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
All right, we'll make that one real quick, and then I'm gonna go ahead and then upgrade it real quick.
sure.
And then, did you pick up the spell blade?
The
Gem. The little gem.
Gem.
Yeah, I did, and I was running
Cool,
around
cool.
and creating like a lane of fire after I
All right,
dashed.
awesome.
Yeah,
You're making
yeah.
it. You're making our showcase really easy. Thank you.
Well, I tried.
So some of the things that I kind of want to go over, and maybe I don't know if it was clear in the UI. So on the bottom there, you have a few different bars. On the bottom left, you have that white bar, that's your health. On the bottom right, you have your stamina, and that gets drained as you're sprinting or dodging or blocking. And then the middle yellow circle, that's your special bar, and that's getting generated as you're hitting enemies. That correlates, like every single weapon handle type has its own special. So the dual wield, you kind of fling out your axes and they do like a boomerang effect and come back.
Sure.
And lastly, and probably most important, is the weapon cleansing bar. So there, that blue half crescent circle. What that's doing is as you're hitting the corrupt enemies within your world, your blades are slowly getting damaged by that corruption,
Gotcha.
and you want to cleanse them to make sure that they're not losing their damage, because if it's fully drained, you're doing way less damage.
Yeah, I noticed. It was like, you need to cleanse your blades. And I was like, why? And doing hits, we're doing like 1 or 2. And I was like, oh, no.
Exactly, yeah. So here we have Alara. She's the guardian that I was mentioning earlier of Herwell, and she's kind of giving us a quick warning of like, hey, you're free to walk about the garden of Herwell, but if you start touching stuff or doing things that I don't like, there's going to be hell to pay for it after. And we'll find her later in the level. I'm not sure how far you got, but maybe you saw her as the boss fight?
No, I didn't. I didn't even meet her. I went apparently everywhere else.
Okay.
Awesome. So at least this is all new content for you.
Yeah, so far I have not seen this
good.
particular spot.
Excellent. So those orbs, those are the spawned allies, and they only
Sure.
last 10 seconds. But since we're hitting so fast, like there'll be moments where you're spawning like 4 or 5 even at a time if you're really lucky.
Yeah, sure.
One thing I wanted to mention too about that durability, that weapon draining, the cleansing mechanic, is there's 2 reasons for them. One, you might have read that some of the pommels, whenever you cleanse your weapon, that certain effects happen. The
Yeah.
second reason we have that mechanic is we don't want you to just go in and constantly being hack and slashing. We do want you to kind of go out and dance in combat and figure out times when you should go in and when you should go out and cleanse.
Sure. Yeah, I made the mistake of like seeing 3 guys and being like, if I just hit them fast, I'll be fine. And then they started throwing stuff at me, and I was like, oh no.
I'm not gonna lie. If you find the right builds and upgrade your gear and shit enough, like you can find that combination too, where
Sure.
you can just wail on dudes.
Yeah, sure. It feels a little not feels a little, but it's kind of reminiscent of like just getting a good build in like Hades and being like, "Oh, I'm God. This is great."
There's so one of the things people might think too when they come into our game, like it's that top-down camera style. Maybe it's like Diablo or something like that.
Sure.
Ooh, oh dang, you died. But
Another
it's a
one
lot
bites
more
the
like if
dust.
you've played like Dark Souls and games like that, like you
Yeah.
have to be really careful with encounters. You can't go in just weapons blazing. Usually.
Yeah, I didn't even realize how to pick up or make a weapon at first. So I was like, I
Okay.
guess they'll just hand me one in a second. And I fought the first guy with my hands and got destroyed. And was like, all right, well, I should look around a little more next time.
I'm not gonna lie, that would have been amazing. Like, yeah, I got like halfway through just punching things. Like, holy shit. Dude.
Oh yeah, I was like, this
Yeah.
game's really hard. No, I got absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, and it takes a bit of skill, and it's there's a lot of systems here that people might not be used to, so we totally understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the beginning of the game, you do actually literally get handed a sword, so I can completely understand
Nice.
that expectation. So
Yeah, well, there's
Yeah.
also the like ring of clothing that I was like, this is convenient. There should be a
Yeah,
sword
yeah,
nearby
yeah.
too, right?
Yeah.
Nope.
Totally. So actually, about the armor that you start with. So normally in the game, you do have to discover different armor and the pommels. So they're not just going to be like drops off of enemies.
Sure.
They're always going to be in like specific locations or from specific bosses, and they do really specific effects. So the ones we gave you guys to start out with is the Bellwether set. And if you have the full Bellwether set, it has a 20% chance where you're just completely not going to take damage. Or
Oh,
alternatively, the armor set you can find in the Ruins of Herwell, the Cavalier set, whenever you pick up currency and you have the full set, you'll do stacking damage for a certain amount of time. So that was really powerful at clearing a level, but not so good at killing bosses.
sure, sure. Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, Cassidy is our best person to play this game. Like he's making this look super duper easy. So
Yeah, I don't
trust-
feel challenged at all. It's fine. Definitely no emaciating going on here for me. It's great. So what
Yeah,
kind
so
of like
Sorry.
what influence, I mean, obviously like you've mentioned Dark Souls and you've mentioned some other things, like what in terms of like visual aesthetic and like the world building were you inspired by?
So that's a great question. So yeah, like you said, Dark Souls, like the moodiness of those games, we've always loved, and Hollow Knight and things like that. But I've always like been a huge fan of the old Final Fantasy games as well. Like I
Sure.
love the art style of Final Fantasy 9, and it's kind of like the merger between all those things that gave us sort of a stylized and maybe even comical, cartoony look, but in a still serious atmosphere of a world.
Sure. Sure.
It's something like we're hoping it helps us stand out with our design.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it works. I think it works. There's a lot of this that like I don't want to say feels familiar, but it was a mood that was really easily or maybe not easily, what's the word I'm looking for? Really well like gets the message across really quickly. Like as soon as I walked up the stairs and saw the rest of the not the rest, but the nearby map, I was like, "Oh, okay. Cool. This place is
Awesome.
going to be dangerous." And you know, just the things that come across with good world building, they came across really well.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, one of the things I wish we could have shown you today and like explored with is the sailing mechanics. It's like one of the things we're really proud of and happy with. So like in a lot of other games, like you'll just kind of select a level or you'll just go through a hallway and you'll be in a new area. But like we are saying we're open world, and what that means is like in the beginning level of Starspire Refuge, which is your home base, you'll be able to get on your Grainwake, which is the ship that you have.
It's a very
And
good name.
the thank you. The camera will pan down. You'll see the horizon of rolling and shifting sands and these different structures out in the distance. And as long as there is a dock lamp and nothing blocking your way, you can choose to go to whatever level in whatever order you want to.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, just as a little bit of an aside, so far the proper nouns in this game rock. The names of the cities and the names of the ship. Yeah, very
thank you.
good. Very good.
Yeah, that's our rudder Henry. That dude just pumps out lore and history and all kinds of cool stuff. So that's mostly thanks
His
to him.
mind is amazing. You ask him, hey, what should we name our boat? He'll like give me 2 minutes. He comes back 2 minutes with
Like
it's called
like-
Grainwake.
yeah.
Where did you
yes,
where did you pull that out from?
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
So Cassidy picked up two
Oh,
pieces
yeah.
of that Cavalier set. And yeah, you can explain the runes too if you want.
Yeah, sorry, I just threw them on. I wasn't even thinking because I was enjoying the conversation.
It's all right. You're
Uh,
good. You're good.
So we got these runes, and they're those like blue things that they drop off of enemies.
Yeah.
If you look in the bottom left, there's a bunch of stats. Runes will drop that represent each of those stats. So if you wanted to be a really fast attacking character, you could find a bunch of those haste runes and put them in your armor. Unfortunately, our armor is only rank 1, so there's only one socket for runes.
Sure.
But at max level, you could get 5 runes in there, so you can
Wow.
really push that speed. You could push
Yeah.
tankiness. Yeah. So, or if you like really rely on dodging, you could put a ton in stamina.
Are runes interchangeable, or are they like socket and forget it?
So if you put a rune in to something that already exists, you lose the old rune.
Okay.
But if you come here and you jump over to the rune carver, you can actually put your armor in there and then remove that rune, so that
Nice.
you can then place it back in. Or
Nice.
not
Okay.
back in,
Cool.
but wherever you want it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so-
love when games let you do that, because a lot of times you will run into something and be like, yeah, I'm gonna put this here, and then you get something better later that just works for the build you've discovered works for you,
Yes.
and like
exactly.
that socket's filled and you can't empty it, or you want to use that rune on something else, and if you take it out, it's destroyed, and it's like, well, that sucks.
Exactly.
So
yeah, like,
this
okay.
won't be on this island though. All these things that you see in here, these will actually be from specific characters that you find in the world,
Sure.
and you'll bring them all back to your main base, which is called Starspire Refuge. And so you'll find a blacksmith, you'll find a weaponsmith, a rune carver, yeah, and oh, this last thing, I don't know if you noticed, but we also have you in. Sorry.
Why did I never go back and talk to her again?
She's an
Yeah.
NPC.
Well,
You
so-
don't really talk to NPCs.
Yeah, in Starspire, you'll find a priest, and that priest will be able to give you these blessings. And basically, it's a skill tree that
Yeah.
is like a permanent thing on your character. So there's a lot of really broken, cool abilities towards the end game, and you can really focus on upgrading certain weapon types too if you're really enjoying like the dual wield, for example.
Sure.
But this first row is like the basic, increase armor, increase attack, and proccing your pommel effects.
Sure.
Yeah, so we're
That's
gonna go with the damage on this one.
I mean, it seems
Yeah.
like the most efficient.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the further down talents, like it activates so you can have the main hand and offhand weapons. It activates both pommels at the same time. So if we have like 2 bonuses, we can start like really going into the customization and going wild as well. And
Sure.
as you can imagine, like there's so many combos with the gear and the runes and different pommel types that you're probably maybe gonna find something that either sucks or is super broken. And we're kind of okay
Sure.
with that. Like it's a single player game, and if you find where all these things are and figure out the right combos, yeah, have at it. Break the game. One shot bosses.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. There's I've had a conversation earlier about Ruin Raiders, and about how like XCOM games, those style of games, always at a point have a place where if you figured it out, you can. For me, it's snipers. I can always make my snipers by the end be just war horses, and I'm just
Yeah.
destroying from a distance, and it breaks the game completely. But I love it because
Yeah.
the developers
fun.
are,
You figured
the
it out,
developers
you
are
know?
like,
Yeah.
let's let them figure out something instead of
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
like break it. So yeah, having those built in is really nice.
Yeah, we always hate it when like there's too much design and they kind of soften all the edges, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, this
So
is
we
dope.
made it to the inner chamber of Herwell. There's Alara again, and she's kind of dispatched a bunch of grave robbers, and unfortunately for us, she kind of thinks we're a part of them. So Cassidy's gonna do his best to see if he can't defeat her.
Yeah, you have
she's-
been walking around killing things and stealing their clothes, so
That's
you
true.
haven't done much to make yourself not look like a grave robber.
Yeah, listen, the grave robber's life is for us, okay?
Yeah.
And we're just trying to defend ourselves.
You just have to say, "Ma'am, I'm not grave robbing. I'm looting." But in video game sense, it's different.
Exactly. Yeah. We're trying to save the world here, all right?
Yeah, I gotta look nice while I do it. Jeez.
Yeah. So Cassidy is absolutely annihilating her. She's trying to heal right there, and not anymore.
Yikes.
So, yeah, at a certain point of healing, or health, she'll try to heal it back to full health. By the way, she is absolutely getting destroyed right now. Normally, this doesn't happen.
No, it's okay. This is really good because like me watching this go, oh, I could do it. and then I'd get there and get fucking destroyed, and I'd have to keep playing. Yeah.
Come on, Cass, you got it. Easy. Don't get greedy. Oh my god,
Oh
well
my
done.
goodness.
So
Thank you.
yeah, like,
Slaughtered.
we barely touched the level, like you said. Like there's a whole other section that you went to than what we went to, and we hope you kind of keep going and checking the whole place out and giving her a shot as well.
Yeah.
So actually, one of the things that I really want to quickly mention here with that guy we just talked to, Ackerman, one of the grave robbers we just saved, as well as Ulber, the one that you interacted with, you ultimately will have a decision with both of these characters and with a lot of other characters in the game. So some of the characters you might bring back to town are like the blacksmiths or the weaponsmiths or the rune carvers, but also these other NPCs that like, well, grave robbers are maybe not the best people. So maybe they're grave robbers with the heart of gold, maybe they're who they live up to be, and you bring them back to town and they give you quests or new rewards, or maybe you'll leave and come back and they've killed an NPC or stolen
Oh,
something from
great.
you.
That's awesome.
And we don't want it to make it obvious either, like, oh, he's a grave robber, he's gonna be a bad guy. Like, no, maybe not. So
Yeah.
we want you to make those decisions, and we hope that encourages like replayability, especially with the builds and the different story branches that you guys kind of come back and try different things out.
Sure. What in terms of like playtime, like what's the goal in terms of like running from beginning to end? Like how long do you expect it to be?
So we're shooting for early access right now,
Yeah.
and for early access, we're looking at from anywhere between 6 to 8 hours.
Okay.
And to give you an idea of like sizes and stuff, so Starspire is like the main hub island, but once you leave, you'll have like 4 major islands. And this one here, we're considering the Ruins of Hurlwell as something like a medium island. And I think this is about like an hour long for a new player.
Sure.
Yeah.
As Cassidy does it in like 12 minutes.
I know, yeah, for real.
Yeah, and keep in mind that 6 hour to 8 hour time frame is actually based around me doing all the content that we have in 6 hours. So
Oh, okay.
one of the
Sure.
faster
So it'll
times.
be like
It
it'll
could
be
be
like a
more.
20-hour game is what you're trying to say.
we're
Possibly.
hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
in
then
the
there's going to
final
be somebody
version-
who does it in like an hour and you're going to be like, "But
Oh,
how?"
yeah.
How did they do that?
Yeah.
And they'll definitely be like in the full version of the game after early access and all that stuff. We're shooting from like 20 to 30 hours.
Nice. That's awesome. What how long have you guys been working on it?
Eric,
We've been working about this for about 4.5 to 5 years now. We started off with like a team of 6 of us, and then I think just in the last year, yeah, for about a year now, because we grew the team up to 12 of us now.
Nice. Nice. This looks great, man. And what's
Yeah,
your
thank you,
what's your
thank you.
timeline for doing early access?
For early access, we are shooting for Q4 of this year or Q1 of next year.
Nice.
That's the range at the moment.
Yeah, that's awesome. I would
Yeah,
I
well,
would definitely like I'm not a person that's ever really gotten into the Dark Souls games. I've played them for a few hours each and then I like realize at some point I either don't have the patience or the patience to keep doing it. But I always watch them and absolutely love them. But playing through this, for whatever reason, the first couple of times I got absolutely ransacked. I was like, no, gotta do this again. I gotta do this again. I can't be this bad.
we hope too, like with the upgrades and the combos and all that stuff, that like as long as you do kind of find the different upgrades, that you would be able to overpower some of the content as well.
Sure, yeah. This is really good draw distance too. I like being able to see all the spots. Yeah,
awesome.
That's
you.
really great.
Well, we're coming up on time. Is there any last minute questions you want to ask us?
I'm trying to think if I asked them all. Yeah, no, not really. You were really descriptive talking through it, and I don't have any questions about how hard it is because Cassidy clearly shows it's easy. No, this is. Oh, are you gonna kill yourself? Does this kill you?
Oh no! Oh
What?
Did you I landed in my eye?
Yeah.
Oh my
He has
god!
fully activated God mode and just.
I swear to
I've
God,
never
I've
seen that
actually
happen.
never seen that.
I have
Yeah,
never
That's
seen that
never-
either. That was
That's
insane.
amazing. Speedrun strats.
Yeah, just jumping off of maps and surviving
See,
like
that's
a boss.
that's how they're gonna figure out how to beat it in like an hour, the whole game.
Yeah. They're gonna run to one place, jump, and slingshot themselves to the moon.
Yeah, to the end of the game.
Yeah.
Look, if you do end up having any other questions about the game or our studio or the game industry, whatever it is, like, man, feel free to contact us. It's been a pleasure
Yeah,
hanging
for
out
sure.
with you. And
Sorry
showing
again
our
for
games.
being late.
No,
I
no,
said
No,
like
no, it's all good.
I set like 20 meetings in my phone, and like none of them were wrong, and I was like, I did it. And then I got messaged. It was like, you're late. I was like, shit. Well, I messed up one of them. I messed up one of them.
we're pretty much right on time too. So
Dope. Before you leave, how can people find you? Because I will probably use this audio and definitely some of the video after the embargo to show people what's going on. How do people
Sure.
look you guys up, follow you, any of that stuff?
That's a good question. We have a website. It's www.sansavora.com. We're also on Twitter and Instagram. The handle is @Sansavora. It's one word. And then we do have a Discord. The Discord link would be found on our Steam page or on our website.
yeah,
Dope.
As well as I think it's also on the profile description of our Twitter as well.
Nice. All right.
well,
Perfect.
Thanks so much, man. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah. Thanks for showing. This is great.
Yeah, awesome.
All right, man.
Have a great rest of your day, and hopefully enjoy your weekend.
Yeah. Have a good E3 and get some rest because it's gonna be. I'm sure you guys are all fucking tired.
For
Yeah.
sure. You have no idea.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
you were a breath of fresh air though. Since you had already played it, we didn't have to like over explain everything.
Oh,
to you,
dope.
so thank
Good.
you.
I'm glad I could help with that. Good.
All
All
right,
right,
have a
man.
good one.
Take
Take
it easy,
care.
guys.
Take
Bye.
care.
Yeah, take care.